Hi, Aries. If you want to come on in, have a seat for some symbolic support. Here's your ink blot made in your name and essence. If you want to take a screenshot so you can scry in your own time and terms for shapes or symbols that speak to your psyche and psychic senses. Aries, thank you for being my muse. Thank you for holding space for me to share my insights, and of course, allowing me to be a guest in your aura. So this week, I'm going to be scribing insights along the way, and at some point in time, I will post, even when I look at it another time, and add more insights on Instagram. The link is below. And later on, Aries, I will be adding your copper coin, heads, tails, should you have a question. And as we all know, whether it's right or wrong, it will reveal an immediate response. So we will get there. Aries, heads, tails. All right. Aries, closing the eyes, taking a deep breath, releasing the race and the rush, activating the abstract mind and ancient awareness to perceive and receive symbolic support for Aries Collective. Thank you. Let's go. Ooh. I'm seeing two really bald men with almost like cone heads. Almost like cone heads, if you've ever seen that movie. But they're talking to each other. One has their, like, one's like, and then the other one, I don't know if this is part and parcel of, like, they're way deep. Oh, there we go. Right in there. And they've got not pitchforks. They could even be tuning forks of two different megahertz or frequencies, because they're doing two different things. One's almost like, oh my goodness, and then the other one closes up where it's like, I don't know. But I quite endear it. I'm also seeing, like, see how around this, the way the ink bled through is really captivating and attracting my eyes. I'm speaking of blue eyes is coming through. Almost like that Frank Sinatra feel. I'm also seeing a water baby. I don't know if somebody was born in water, or maybe when you were a kid you had one of those toys that were a water baby, but something along that lines. They do have little baby devil horns. Could even be like I shouldn't necessarily say devil. Could be like little goat or something. There could be something along the lines of growing new ram horns even, right? Something in the energy and emotions. Yes. Okay. Give me two shakes here. They're either new, I'm going to say new ram horns growing. So whatever you may have your sights set on or you're thinking about, but it's definitely energy and emotion connected. It's in like this little water baby. It's tied into these two tuning forks, which could also be like divining rods, but I'm seeing them more as actual tuning forks. And if I may, it's oddly still somehow in branches, like earth, though I understand tuning forks are generally metal, and that's one version. It's like that I'm also picking up particular sticks or something, and like divining rods, excuse me, I don't know why that's happening. Like divining rods, But these aren't meant to cross. These are more like detectors of something through a frequency. Maybe you might be like working with magic wands, creating a magic wand, something along that lines. Okay, Aries, I'm going to keep going here, and I'll start adding on some tarot and oracle in a moment. As I'm wondering, I feel like I'm in celestial stuff here. I don't use the word celestial a lot. That I do know. Feel loved and proud is coming through, and that's in that celestial feel. Like it's all very fluid. I don't know what's going on with my throat, but I'm just... Okay, and in this card, that's beautiful. So in this card, it's actually a woman or person, and all this celestial like seaweed and energy is holding this bird. These branches, these fluid branches. And it brings me right, because it is yellow subtly, and it's drawing me down towards the bottom, like all of this celestial, earthly, and then the bird is here. That's what that's making me feel like, Aries. So give me 2 shakes here and see what else is coming through. It's almost like I'm seeing some sort of... I'm seeing another a baby, and I don't know if these are actual babies. To be honest with you, doesn't... If you are getting preggers, adopting, all that kind of good stuff, congratulations. This feels very internal. This doesn't feel like I'm reading something external. I'm seeing some sort of markings. They're I shouldn't say they're not necessarily here. I feel like it's actually in the third eye. It's like a language. Okay. Thank you. So remember those cone head bald people I was talking about? They are pouring something down in towards the third eye space that is creating more channels. And then I'm seeing like an ancient, you know, those places, I'm not going to give them a name because I'm sure I'll get the location wrong. But they used to carve their castles, their home, their this, that, or the other in the mountain. In it. That's what this feels like. So you might be getting downloads from coneheads. And these channels that I'm seeing like carving into this oldness is about channels on earth, in earth. And then from that celestial feeling, it's like from the meat suit, like your energy, like in a steam room, your emotions, your aura, like maybe 1 foot to maybe 2 feet, but definitely within the 1 foot to 2 foot space. It's like I can see it in a steam room, and I can just see it emanating off you. This, even though the cone heads are in brown, it's because they're working with you in that, dare I say, stubborn space. Okay. Feeling loved and proud and coming down with this bird. Interesting how your ink blot didn't actually carry over in its 2 colors. Digging it. So love that. I'm seeing something in relation to two flames. Two flames. And they have hearts as eyes. This could be friends, frequency again with that tuning fork. It could also be like twin flames, depending on your language that you use to express that meaning for yourself. If you resonate with that, it could even just be, I'm seeing Wilma and Betty from the Flintstones. Betty and Veronica, whatever characters that have been played out time and time again. I think this is of you, Aries. The two cards that came out are also, as I'm in this yellow space of your ink blot, look at those cards, like all gold and yellowy and just delicious. Plus there's this bird in the hands of, which I'm going to say is like creator, because all of this, like that downloading, also feels like all the nesting around. Okay, I'm going to carry on. So all this golden, the Wilma and Betty, I think they're parts of you. And they're two different aspects of the same fire. Something has been completed, and now you're moving on to a next chapter. Literally in the cards. Completion, change, and travel. You're moving on, Aries. You are blatantly moving on. And this feels like completion. I'm ready to put this part of the book down. I'm ready to put, maybe you've been studying something in one aspect, or you've been doing stuff over the years, receiving messages, again, downloads in different ways. There is a crow there, or actually more specifically a raven. Okay, so in this fire twin of your own, there's the raven. And the one that's now preparing, the version of you, the psychology of you, there's a unicorn here. So those symbols may stand out to somebody. Oops, excuse me. Thank you. Moving around. And that's beautiful. And that's all down in here. Like, look at that. It's fantastic, Aries. I love it. Okay, I'm going to flip it. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. Even if it's just an emoji or something, it does help the channel and get picked up by the algorithm. And we'll add on your coin soon. We're just going to flip it for an alternative perspective, like the dark side of the moon, and add on more cards. Another male, feels male energy. The earthly expressions are whatevs. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like Rumpelstiltskin. And I admit, the only real knowing of that story, it's been a long, long time. You know, and they have the weaving of the wheel. Okay. But it's from the show Once Upon a Time. The wonderful character who played, I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, amazing character. But there's like riddles. I feel like you might have been either working with like a Rumpelstiltskin of the self, Aries, that has been like other parts of you have been coming to for advice, and then it somehow gets skewed. Okay. And he weaves, takes like straw into gold, and there's so much fire and gold here. But I think that's what you've done for yourself inevitably, like through all the riddles and rhythms and this, that, or the other. You didn't get duped as much as you think along the way. If that's a weird word to say, it was all part and parcel of coming to this knowing for you to move on. And I say that because right here at the 2 cards, that invisibility, authenticity, and the underworld. I'm going to keep them out. Thank you. Midnight, the most magical hour of all. It's time. Your Cinderella moment, if I may. Or cinder, whatever. Pomegranate also is standing out for somebody, having the fruits of your labor, where all things pause and begin again. The authenticity. That's interesting. The authenticity of being invisible. I'm going to leave that there. So, like, this is where I'm seeing, like, the Rumpelstiltskin, and then these 2 female energies are coming towards. So I feel like different parts of you at different time, they came in to, like, meet Rumpelstiltskin and say, like, I need this help. I need this spell. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? But it's all been working together. I'm also seeing a chariot on fire. And for whatever reason, something, I have no more or less clues than normal. There's some song that's standing out. I don't know what song. I'm sure it's different for everybody. For every Aryan has their own knowing. Something about a song. Okay, I'm going to keep... I get so lost in the ink. I love it. All right, Ariens. You're on fire. I'm zooming out a little bit as well here, Aries. Whoop, in that whole landscape of what, if I'm being honest, it's like at whatever timeline I'm in, whatever portion of the psyche or psychic senses, whatever landscapes they are, it kind of feels like hell. Like I got to move my foot, sorry. It feels hellish. Like this, I've been through hell. I've gone through hell. I've been to hell and back. Revisited. Hell and back. And now I'm seeing this hell, if I may, as one of those monkeys with the tambourine. That's how I'm seeing the Aryan energy perceive it. With this, whether this is of you, of course, or the collective around you, and you're like, they're just hellish. Like, I can't. This is hell. Something has gone on. Completion again in seer, change, travel. And now I look at it and I see them all, what was so strongly fire and just hellish energy, whatever the case may be. And now I see them all as like a bunch of tambourine monkeys. And I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Like, see how, if I can get in there, right? Like hair back, you're like, oh my goodness. But 8 of Cups, it's like poop's coming together. What things were frozen, or you're freezing out, or ghosted to your ring of fire, there's something manifesting in a thank you. That is incredible. Again, in this 8 of Cups. So 8 of Cups card might really stand out to you if there's a deck that you love that may have a meaning that you resonate with the most versus what I'm rambling on about. But nonetheless, so there's that ring of fire, and then there's the ice cube. Ring of fire and the ice cube is this part of the ink blot. Fire and water. Oh, I'm digging it. And I'm really, really freezing. Really, really freezing. No, we're going over there. Okay. All right, Ariens, I'm going to draw down to the bottom of your ink blot, add on a few more oracle cards, and then we'll dig into your question that you may have with the flip a coin. And if I do remember, I'll try and timestamp it so you can just be like, I just want to go. Check it out. I don't know. You do. I'm seeing stamps. Man, I am freezing. Ariens, I feel like I'm de-thawing a little bit. And if I'm being very honest, I can see myself like kind of at your fireplace here, the hearth. And now all this flame that once, might have burned or this, that, or the other, I'm seeing it like the heart of your hearth. And it's warm. And yeah, sometimes it can blaze because it's what you care about. And sometimes you can get ticked off and it'll, maybe send out a few sparks as warnings to be like, da, 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 da. But there's still something about communication coming in. Like just the flames of fire are... Not everyone understands that language. Not everyone understands everyone's language. I don't know how else to say that. I'm hearing an example that I don't actually know what it is. So I'll do my best to... Okay. So like it's if someone said, well, don't do that. It's like, well... Or can you please stop doing that? And be like, okay, well, I didn't... And somebody's really upset about that, right? They're like, just please stop doing that. It drives me crazy. You've been driving me insane for 1 day, 1 year, 1 month, whatever. Even of yourself, if there's just a habit you do that drives your internal compass chaotic. And then the other person or internal aspect is like, okay, but all right, well, thank you for telling me, for communicating. Like, I can see that you're, all fired up here, but I didn't know. It's like, well, how did you not know? I left these clues. I left these insinuations everywhere. And the ice to the fire, whatever the case may be, is like, but that's not my language. So you leaving random, what you think are clues is complete background to me. They don't stand out, they don't speak to me. So how am I to learn your language if you don't even share what it is? Or why not just use the language we're using now and speak this earth and ethereal magistrate coming through. Like, just speak it. Does that make sense? My stomach just growled. Okay. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm so adorably, like, see this little? I'm seeing a house. It's in the clouds. There's 2 people on the chimney of it, or maybe on another roof part of it. Not really sure. It's isolated and alone. Fruit bat, flying fox, kindness. That's what that conversation prior was. First of all, you are absolutely receiving the fruits of some sort of labor from this completion, and now you're moving on to whatever case may be, even if it's just another interest in your head or I don't know, whatever it is for you. You are the creator that connects the dots. But this house feels a little haunted. It's like, because there's one light on, which is inviting sometimes, right? So I don't want to there's a few rabbit holes I can wander down here, but I will admit my first instinct was, this is a little bit of a haunted house. But there is a light on. The right people will be invited. The right energies will be invited. Okay, Ariens, absolutely getting ready to close. I apologize. And like all 3 cards came shooting out at once. There's that stamp. Remember when I was talking about that stamp? I'm not talking about like a postage stamp per se. What I feel like I'm seeing is right in here, some sort of owl or what is that? V for Vendetta mask, but I feel like I'm looking at a rubber stamp that, I would ink and stamp, but the way I'm looking at the stamp portion, the way the positive and negative spaces are laid out, it's not necessarily clear. Like, what it is, you have an idea of what's going to be stamped, but it just looks different. It's in rubber. It's not. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there in case that means something to somebody. But I do feel like some sort of mark has been made. You've made a mark in the nature of your mind, your meat suit, the whole thing. I'm also seeing it like a little gremlin. It just kind of transformed on me, but I did get, don't feed it after midnight or don't get wet. I don't know exactly. I can't remember. So there's also something about gremlin and maybe honoring your own boundaries or communicate what they are to say, in order to get this version of me, these are things that help, that nurture this version of me as an Ariens. Boss, partner, whatever the case, friends, this, that, or the other, or just simply your own knowing. If you're looking to ignite the other side of the gremlin of the Arian energy, or I don't know, spice things up, and you want to see if fire burns, I don't know. I feel like the language, like there's some sort of rule book that's going to be, not rule book, but something that's going to be spoken and said and written to say, being very clear, for this version of me, these are the ingredients that bring it out. For this version of me, these are the ingredients that bring it out. And I'm not telling you this for any other reason than to be clear of my own mad scientist, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years of existence. This is what I know. Okay, so we are almost closing out here. We have dog companionship, owl wisdom, which we saw in there, and the seahorse equality. There, did it go through? There we go. And I feel like I'll leave those up to you to be very, wander around. I feel like we went through the owl and the wisdom and the companionship of the dog. There is a bow, like she's got a bow. So whatever it is, you've got your sights set on. A lot of messages are in the air, and I feel like that you might be communicating differently than you did before, or it's going to be enhanced because this equality of the seahorse, the two parts have come together. And they are quite pleased to do that. All right, Aries, if you want to take a moment, you can pause as well to think about your question. You don't have to, but like I said, it's not about the right or wrong, just simply to notice what your response is, to notice how you feel. We'll go with the Arian ram as yes, heads, and the back, the map, the zodiac map with the yin yang as tails. Aries aura, Aries collective. Why? Because we're fun. Why? Because we want to poke our own knowings to know ourselves better. Aries, you got heads. A yes. All right. Enjoy that journey. I'm really going to go warm up. Thank you so much for an amazing reading, and until next time.